It's common knowledge that all political systems are somewhat corrupt, but it's even more ridiculous when the head anti-drug agency turns out to be the biggest supporter of drug cartels. We are talking about Jesus Gutierrez Rebollo, whose glorious military career ended in disgrace thanks to his connection and involvement in one of Mexico's most powerful cartels. But how does a respected military official fall down the road of corruption that ultimately lands him in jail? In today's video, we are going to take you through the journey of Gutierrez Rebollo's life, from a respected military official to a convict. So, make sure to watch the video till the end so you don't miss out on anything. But before we get started, I would like you to take a moment and subscribe to our channel if topics like this interest you. Also, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Some might know him as a character from a famous Netflix series, Narcos, but Jesus Hector Gutierrez Rebollo was in fact a real person born in 1934 in the municipality of Yonacatepec, Morelos. Growing up, he didn't have much going on for him except for the fact that he was determined to be in the military. The opportunity presented to him when he moved to Cuautla as a young man, when he joined the federal district where he became an army man. His military days were glorious from the start. He saw one success after another, and throughout the year, he gradually rose in rank till he finally reached the highest military position. He was very popular among the military and people aspired to be like him. Though he was infamous for having a gruff attitude, he was respected for his ideals and his great actions and accuracy when dealing with drug trafficking. It also earned him his nickname, Anti-Drug Czar. Before he was appointed to the INCD post, Rebollo had been the commander of the 5th Military Region that encompasses the state of Sinaloa, and he also acted as chief of the 15th Military Zone in the Jalisco capital. These two were the region with the most dispute back then, as they were the operating ground of the two biggest cartels. Jalisco was home to big-name traffickers like Rafael Caro Quintero, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, while Sinaloa was run by El Güero and El Chapo Guzman. Rebollo not only fought trafficking in these regions, he also managed to stick around longer than any other previous official. As per the legends, there is an unwritten rule in Mexico that military region and zone commanders can only serve 2 years in their post. After their 2 years are served, they always get replaced by new faces. But Rebollo somehow managed to cheat this unwritten law. He arrived in Guadalajara in 1989 and continued to work through many 2-year terms. When Rebollo arrived in Guadalajara, things were not at their worst. Open battles would break out on the city streets between members of rival gangs, and by 1990, more than 90 execution cases were recorded. During his time there, he managed to capture one of the most wanted drug lords, Ivan Taborda, in 1993. He also arrested El Güero Palma in 1995. Not long after he captured Lupercio Cerratos in 1996. All these big achievements helped him become the respected czar he was famously known as. But something weird was going on. It so happens that every person Rebollo captures belonged to the rival gang of Jalisco cartel, a cartel he was supposed to be fighting. It started to become apparent that Rebollo may not have accomplished all this on his own merits. Things were going fine until he was appointed as the head of the National Institute of Combat Drugs, also known as INCD. In 1996, during the 6-year term of President Ernesto Zedillo, Rebollo graciously accepted the position, but his term only lasted for 72 days before he got involved in one of the most humiliating scandals of all time. General Rebollo was accused of receiving bribes from the traffickers. Being a known figure in the military proved to be a bad thing for Rebollo ever since he won the favor of the president. Government officials were keeping an eye on him, and when he bought an apartment that cost way more than his military wage can afford, the government became suspicious about where Rebollo got that huge amount of money from, and so they launched an investigation against him. That investigation brought light onto a huge part of the government that was riddled with corruption. Rebollo, along with 33 other officials in high government positions, were found taking bribes from the mafia. Rebollo was buddies with the cocaine kingpin Amado Carrillo Fuentes from the Jalisco cartel. He was accused of taking bribes from him to overlook his trafficking activities. It was also revealed that throughout his years in the Jalisco region, Rebollo had never taken any action to curb Amado Carrillo's Jalisco cartel. He worked along with them, which could also be the reason how he managed to survive in that zone without being replaced. The investigation was carried out in secret, and when one midnight, Rebollo got a call from Defense Minister General Enrique Cervantes to report in his office immediately. He had no idea that he was about to be arrested. He was arrested the same night, but anything about his arrest was kept a secret from the public for the next 13 days, causing many rumors to start circulating around. Some said that he had attempted to commit suicide. Others believed he had a nervous breakdown and was admitted to the military hospital. There was also a press announcement that there had been an attempt made on the general's life. The people were baffled when the true reason for the general's absence was announced. Many refused to believe that Rebollo had betrayed his country and threatened national security. Initially, Rebollo denied all the allegations, but a high-ranking military official revealed one of the taped interactions between Amado and Rebollo, where he was clearly discussing the bribes he would receive in favor of covering the cartel's criminal activities, after which he was punished in a public trial where all the military's own leaders and the press were called in. In the trials, Rebollo was stripped of all his military ranking and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. In the wake of Rebollo's arrest, the government rounded up another 50 generals and gave them a warning against such activities. Investigators were claiming that the arrest of a few higher officials was just a tip of the iceberg and the corruption runs way deeper. On the other hand, generals like Garduño suggested that the whole speculation of Rebollo's fall was nothing but a government vendetta. Rebollo's two sons also suggest that their father was an honest and honorable man. They even suggested that the government tried to destroy Rebollo's reputation because he knew too much. Things got worse when the US government got a whiff of the news about corruption trials in Colombia. The one who cried the loudest was a retired general, Barry McCaffrey, who was the director of the Office of National Drug Control in the USA. He was in good favor with the Mexican general and had praised him a lot in the White House. He felt betrayed by him. McCaffrey claimed that he had shared some highly confidential information with the general. McCaffrey was sure that the general had passed on the sensitive security information to the kingpin Amado Carrillo, and now there's a potential danger to the life of the USA's 51 DEA agents that were operating in Mexico. America started pressuring the government to look into the matter, but it was later found out that all the agents had already gone into hiding as soon as the news of Rebollo's arrest was released. America also used this opportunity to show President Ernesto Zedillo that Mexico was really incompetent in fighting wars against drugs and drug trafficking. They proposed that if their armed forces were losing to the drug lords, then the White House could increase the penetration of the American military and police in Mexico. This isn't the first case of military corruption in Mexico, but it certainly is the worst one, because before his arrest, Rebollo was loved by all and seemed almost untouchable. After his sentencing, Rebollo was detained in the Almoloya High Security Prison in Ciudad Juarez and was later transferred to the Tepic Prison in Nayarit. Even after his public sentencing, Rebollo tried very hard to appeal for parole to reduce his sentence by 10 years and requested that his military ranks be restored. The court denied his first appeal and granted his second. He got his rank back in 2008. In 2007, he was sentenced to 40 years in prison for crime against health and organized crime. He was also struck with a fine of 24,716,000 pesos. While serving his time in prison, Rebollo's health deteriorated. In 2011, he was transferred to the Central Military Hospital in Mexico City for his treatment against diabetes, cardiorespiratory disease, and cancer. In 2013, he died of a stroke at the Central Military Hospital at the age of 79. What a sad ending to a seemingly prosperous life of a hero who was respected by his entire country. What are your thoughts about Rebollo? Was he really a traitor? Or was it all part of the conspiracy? Let us know in the comments. Also, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more.